He's buff, he's the stuff, and it turns out his appearance in Tacoma was more than enough. I'm John Renton with the retro review of WWE Raw from July 2nd, 2001. Yes, the infamous episode inside the Tacoma Dome where Booker T versus Buff Bagwell for the WCW Championship took up the main event spot of WWE's flagship show, and the Tacoma Dome crowd, everybody in there, I think even the staff, were booing the fuck out of this. They were treating them like they were the worst people in the fucking world. They were saying fire to their possessions or putting them in a trash compactor, killing their friends, family members, their favorite pets, slaughtering them like goddamn goats, sacrificing them to Satan. They were treating them like the absolute scum of the fucking earth. And granted, seeing Buff Bagwell in any kind of singles championship match in 2001 or really in any years prior, because he was never that good, his head and ego were higher than his talent level would ever be. He was much better in tag teams. Booker T, you could clearly tell, was bothered by this stuff. And man, that pretty much put the kibosh on WCW having any kind of presence, besides, the lame invasion angle, which was a missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed motherfucking flame out opportunity. And all the other talents that decided to take their AOL Time Warner guaranteed money, you think they regretted that after seeing this? I doubt it. So, yeah, I'm going to continue to retro review the entire invasion angle, but this episode was particularly spicy. I was not there. I just wasn't able to go, and honestly, revisiting this, it would have been cool to be part of a hot crowd, but the show I think featured maybe 25 minutes of wrestling. There was just so much interference and so much other stuff. It would have been a cool atmosphere, but I've been inside Tacoma Dome for shows. It's a shitty venue. It's a really fucking shitty venue. It was shitty when it was first built. I saw a concert there that actually wasn't too bad, but as far as wrestling, I mean, it did have Spring Stampede 1999 that some people enjoyed, and I mean, it was the last good WCW pay-per-view in my opinion, even with the flaws. This particular episode, though, is noteworthy, but for all the wrong reasons. Recaps of the invasion last week were WCW hit the MSG spot on Monday nights, and then Booker T and the MSGs invaded, and who's the mole? They try to find out who the mole is. I will say that the crowd seemed pretty full, but I think there were parts that were tarped off because this seating arrangement, capacity, and everything in the Tacoma Dome is really goddamn weird. Really fucking weird. I don't know who the fuck thought that was a good idea to do the architecture like that, but apparently they were drunk, or stupid, or inbred, or possibly all three. So anyway, Vince runs down WCW. You can't compare WWE and WCW. That's like comparing the capital, Washington, D.C., to the state of Washington. Big decisions are made in the capital, and all you do is grow apples. To be fair, Vince, we also have bad traffic. Really bad traffic. Here's Kurt to basically show recaps, and he says, well, Austin got laid out. It's about Booker T. Here's Austin, who is upset at Kurt. Angle makes a vow to protect Austin and Vince from Booker T. And then Austin says, how are you going to do that when my foot is lodged so far up your ass? You're a jackass. Vince told me he's a jackass. I'm a hero. Jackass, hero, jackass, hero, jackass. Rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season. And then they keep doing that. And then Shane sees them have a hug off. So he's like, what is this? An Olympic gold medalist and the WWE champion are competing for hugs? Is this Raw or Sesame Street? Well, this show will be sponsored by the letter I, as in invasion. And Shane basically has the power to make the main event, which he decides to, and it's going to be Booker T versus Buff Bagwell. The crowd boos relentlessly. This was not going to go well. I will say right now, before I get too far into this, that, and I've heard this, Buff Bagwell talk about this, and other people have talked about this, they were in Atlanta the next week. I don't understand why they didn't just hold off and do it. I mean, I think Vince kind of had a little bit of an idea to kill this thing off first. If they had had it in Atlanta, I don't know how well Buff Bagwell and Booker T would have been received. It would have been received better than this, but maybe people would have still booed the fact that Buff Bagwell was in the main event because he's Buff Bagwell. So anyway, we then have the APA saying, it's like, well, what the hell happened with Shane? Who was Shane talking to on the cell phone? What the hell happened? Maybe he has a mole to tip him off. Let's go find out who the mole is. So Undertaker comes down with Sarah, takes on Albert for the IC title. He won it from Kane on SmackDown after DDP interfered when the referee was distracted, knocked down, all that stuff. A lot of knockdowns here. Nearly 20 minutes into the show, we get to the first match. It's over in 2 minutes when DDP attacks Undertaker with a chair, causing a DQ. Kane then shows up behind DDP when Sarah's trying to square off against him, proving that DDP meant nothing because Sarah, who's like 10 pounds, and that was just in whatever that bulldog face was, she was going to face off against DDP. And then DDP got laid out, got low blowed by him, or got low blowed by Sarah rather, and then beat up by Undertaker. And then Albert came back in and he scurried off. And then another Another side story here, or main story, was Tori wanting to negotiate with Vince for a WWE deal. Howard Finkel shakes her hand forever. I miss Howard Finkel. I really miss Howard Finkel. Great ring announcer. Such a nice guy. I never got to meet him, but apparently, according to people I talked to that met him, such a nice guy. That hit the nostalgia vein a little bit. Crash with Jacqueline or Jaqueline. Thank you, Derb. If you happen to be watching this, I will never hear it the same way. Took on Molly Holly with Spike. They had a thing from SmackDown. And basically, Jacqueline screws over Crash. Molly go around 1, 2, 3 in about a couple minutes. So we had nearly 20 minutes of talking and backstage stuff, and then we had maybe 4 minutes of matches. It's like nothing. I mean, the only thing that's changed now is they do the 20 minutes of talking, but they'll have the occasional long match, which is seriously ridiculous. Tornado DDT by Jaqueline afterwards. And then Vince is talking to Austin and Angle. And it's like, we got to get along. And then Tori shows up and wants to discuss the contract with Vince. Austin wants to go with her. And then we get Austin and Angle saying, like, what? Like, well, what the hell is he gonna do? And then Angle's trying to, say something like, and everything. He's like, oh, I get it. You got a point. Well, Deborah's just right there. More recaps from SmackDown. Palumbo and O'Hare being brought in and then laid out. So we get Christian polishing Edge's trophy. Have fun unseeing it. They were brothers, by the way, at this point. Then they just forgot they were brothers after Christian came back. Regal tells Tajiri to watch out for Scotty's worm and then does the dance with thankfully pants. Dudley show up and say, why are we facing Jericho? I want you to put him through a table, Regal says. Well, all you had to do was ask. APA then talked to Hardcore Holly about who the Stooge is. Think about who wasn't there. They realized then later that it could be somebody, a big guy. This is a test. Vince and Tori negotiate. Austin interrupts. Vince, what are you trying to negotiate in the shower for? This shouldn't have been funny, but it was. And then Sky 2 Hottie versus Tajiri. ECW chants. They cheer for ECW, but they don't cheer for WCW. To be fair, ECW has a little more nostalgia to it. At one point, the crowd pops for Tajiri's worm. Gross. Pops for Sky's worm, which is somehow more gross. Regal distracts. Missed. Buzzsaw kick. About 4 minutes. 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Kurt interrupts Vince and Tori. And it's like in a freaking mop closet. I think Tori likes me, Kurt. God damn it, Kurt. Booker shakes Tess's hand. Hey, why don't you come to WCW? Well, it depends on time and money. So then the APA decide, oh, he's the mole, because they hear from a ref later. Dudley versus Jericho, and probably the match of the night, in all honesty. Basically we get, a botched headbutt, the was up thing, because Devon is way too far away. We get a ref altercation, and the ref gets pulled out by Bubba because it's Earl Hebner, so he's naturally wanting to do that. The table comes out. Spike hits the Dudley Dog on Bubba and splashes him on Devon, and then Lion Salt 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Overbooked, but the ref was down. It was what it was. Vince and Tori, they start to get close, and oh no, this was gross. This was really, really gross. I mean, it was supposed to be, but it was gross. It's all leading to something. There's a payoff. You just have to sit through a lot of gross stuff. So, God damn it. We get Sarah and Moppy interrupting because I guess Moppy needed to use the stall. And then we get footage of the doctor talking to Chris and Nancy about Chris's neck issues, which would obviously not lead to any, issues 6 years after that. Oh, wait, it totally would. Chris's neck, he would get choked up about what he did on June 24th, 2007, and then he would do that. I'm not going to forget that, and I'm not going to stop saying that, and I don't fucking care because Chris Benoit is a piece of shit for what he fucking did. So anyway, Christian with Edge versus X-Pac with Just Incredible Light Heavyweight Championship match. It was over in like 2 minutes because we got a distraction and a title to the head, and it's like, because Credible and Edge kept coming in and everything, and naturally the ref saw Edge, X-Pac hit him in the head, Christian, that is, with the title and won. So then we have Taz in WWE New York. He's not happy after what Austin did on SmackDown. Rhino versus Test. The winner faces Mike Awesome at Invasion. The roster's out on the stage, including Jerry Lynn, who I forgot was in WWE. Seriously, blink and you'll miss it. I think Jerry Lynn, was he even part of a pay-per-view? Was he part of even the Invasion pay-per-view? I'm trying to remember. I mean, I'm going to be watching it soon, but it was what it was. So the roster is on stage since Test talked to Booker, and Test is like, wondering, what the hell are you guys doing? Bradshaw hits a clothesline from hell on him. And then a gore 1, 2, 3. So Rhino faces Mike Awesome at the pay-per-view. They beat down Test. We got the mole. So Matt and Lita with Jeff take on Big Show with Trish. It was fine. Show knocked both Hardys down. I think Jeff was injured, hence why he wasn't wrestling. And we get a double DDT on Show. A moonsault on Trish, 1, 2, 3. And then Show yells at Trish. Jeff hits a missile dropkick and saves her. That's going to lead to a little bit of an alignment for, a bit. And then more Vince and Tori. I hate it. Please stop. Make it stop. Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared. Buff and Shane are talking, and Buff's overconfident. I don't need luck, because I'm Buff on the stuff, and my hat is more than big enough. How did he get that hat through customs? Not even customs, but airport security. Airport security would ramp up a little bit later this year. I'm not looking forward to reviewing that episode or that time period. So the roster is all happy they're toasting because they got this. Slaughter says it wasn't Test. He doesn't have a cell phone. We were talking about the alley fight. Convenient, but okay. WCW graphics. Shane's out and we get boos. Scott Hudson. Whatever happened to Scott Hudson? And Arn Anderson are doing the ring announcing. And Stacy's out there to do the ring announcing. That's adorable. And Shane got removed by security. I think one of the security guys was Lance Cade. Or at least he looked like Lance Cade. Very young Lance Cade. Booker and Buff for the WCW title. All I will say is the crowd hated this. Absolutely fucking hate. My God, they booed the fuck out of this thing. It was amazing. If nothing else, watch this and just see how they fucking just boo the shit out of this. Austin Angle will come out. They beat down Booker. Buff joins. Oh no, Buff's going to defect. And then we cut to Tori and Vince where she strips him down except to his shirt and his pants around his ankles. And then he's got a big surprise for her. And then he opens his eyes after turning around and it's Linda. Oh no, don't turn around. Uh-oh. And then he falls into some boxes. He's boxed in cardboard because now he's all upset. Oh no, Linda's going to want a divorce from him. That's the only time that Vince would have cheated on Linda. If you know, you know. And then Austin Angle knocked Booker T out of the building onto the streets of Tacoma, dirty as they are. Trust me, I know Tacoma, not a clean city. And then they attack Buff. And that's the end of that. Thanks for coming, Buff, you goddamn idiot. So anyway, that episode was noteworthy. Agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.